Greetings, fanboys and fangirls. Jared here with another video from Fanboys Forever. Today we're going to be looking at a leaked image that McFarlane actually put out themselves accidentally. And apparently on one of their social media accounts, they went ahead and posted this image earlier tonight. And this is indeed what appears to be an official image of their retro series of figures from the Batman Classic TV series. Of course, this is based on the '66 Batman television show. And we can see pretty much, I think this is all of the items that they had in those leaked solicitations a little while back, where there was a Batmobile, a Batman figure, Joker, Robin, and a Batcave playset, and this is everything. So let's take a closer look at each item. Let's start with Batman himself right here. It's decent. You know, the very first thing we should say about all these is that these aren't 7-inch like collector figures. These are retro styled figures done in 6 inches. So this will not go with the other McFarlane stuff, and I'm not 100% sure about the wisdom behind that decision. I'm not sure if it's a great one or not. As soon as I saw that these would be 6-inch figures, I kind of knew that there would be some compromises made. And the detail isn't that bad. There are some things that are lacking, particularly the likeness is a little strange looking. I actually think the only problem are the eyes, and it's kind of giving me flashbacks to the Arkham Asylum Batman figure that they put out that kind of had the weird eyes, but everything else was right. It's kind of what I'm seeing with this. If it wasn't for that, I think this there would be a lot more positive things to say here. The cape is soft goods, which is much like the Mattel version. The articulation looks a little more limited than what we're used to. There's nothing on the abs or anything like that. There is a waist cut, it appears. There's some hinges at the shoulders. There's single hinged elbows. I can't really tell if there's anything at the wrist. I think there is. I think there might be a cut. Can't really tell exactly what's happening at the hips there. Maybe there's some kind of splits action right there. I can't tell. Moving on down, we have single jointed knees. And who knows about the feet or the ankles because they're not in the picture. So this is interesting. It reminds me way more of the Mattel stuff than I expected it to. It's kind of funny. This almost feels like a mix of like those retro styled 3 3/4 Batman figures with the Mattel ones. I do think this looks maybe slightly better in some ways than the Mattel one, but in other ways, I don't know. Maybe Mattel had maybe slightly better face sculpt. It's hard to say. It looks decent though. Moving on to Robin over here, I will say this, at least it is some kind of likeness. The Mattel version from a few years back really had no likeness whatsoever. But I will say that Robin's cape concerns me a little bit. You see the weird, like the funky thing it's doing around the shoulders right there? That's a little concerning where these are soft goods. McFarlane's strengths are usually to do those sculpted capes, so it's a little weird. You can see looks to have the same kind of articulation that Batman has. Once again, I can't exactly tell what's going on with the hips necessarily. Chances are these could have more limited articulation than we're used to. Like I said, at least the face has some kind of likeness to Burt Ward, even though it's like not the best or anything. Then moving back here to the Joker figure, I actually think that by far this is the best looking out of all the figures. That's actually a really, really good likeness to Cesar Romero. Hard to tell about mustache representation here. I certainly can't tell from that distance and at this quality, but it looks really good, and I'm very, very impressed with this. Kind of like in the same vein as the Mattel figure that definitely had a better likeness to Cesar Romero than it did Adam West or Burt Ward on those figures, and this is even better than the Mattel one. So I actually think it looks really great. I think the suit looks really nice. I think the color choices are all good. So I'm actually pretty excited about that one. Hard to say if they've actually worked any kind of stripes into the suit, though. It's just too far off. The image quality isn't there enough. Next up, we'll look at the Batmobile, or what we can see of it. Now, I think in the original solicitation, it said something like that this would just be like $30 or something. And that's a heck of a deal for a 6-inch scaled car like that. I still have the Mattel one, and it's a fantastic vehicle, and we reviewed it, forever ago. I'm curious if this will live up to that same level of quality, but if it really is a $30 vehicle, then I can't imagine there's too much going on, but what we can tell of it in this picture, it does look really nice, so I do have high hopes for it. The last part of the image we'll look at is the actual Batcave playset itself, and I think this is the thing I'm the most interested in because we don't really see playsets much these days. Let's analyze each part of it here. We have kind of like a little bat computer with some drawers right here. I don't know if those are stickers or what. Over here we have part of the Bat computer, and if you remember, Mattel gave us something similar a few years back when they did like that little Batcave set. We have more computer consoles back there. Then we have the big giant nuclear reactor that was in the middle of the Batcave. Looks really good. We have a ladder moving up to it, and we have the big cylinders too. Now if you look, there's some interesting stuff going on with the construction of the cave back here. You can see where it's joined together, like these big joints back here. And maybe that's so that it can break down and you can assemble it. I don't know if it's if that's just like so that it can go in the box or what. But I do think it's interesting that there's a whole playset for this. So at least they're doing something interesting, and it's something different than what we've seen before. And if you look back here, you can actually see that there's like a platform. And who knows if that's just a part of the display that they have for this picture or what. But it is interesting that there's kind of a rock platform that the Batmobile is actually sitting on. So there's lots of cool stuff going on with this picture. I'm curious to see more about these. It could be a case of them being in hand and final production pieces might look a little bit better. For the time being, I feel like if Batman's eyes just were given a slight repaint, I think it would look 10 times better. But other than that, yeah, these are pretty cool. I don't think they'll change the minds of anybody who, hated the Mattel versions or anything like that, but I think they're pretty decent, and these could be pretty fun little series from McFarlane. Anyway, though, guys, of course, be sure to like and subscribe if you can. It really helps the channel out, helps us grow. So anyway, as always, God bless you and yours. Be safe out there, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Fanboy out.